Raul Fernandez has a contract for 2027 and 2028, and it took almost half a year of trench warfare to get there. Not over money, not over bonuses, over one number nobody at Trackhouse wanted to say out loud. The team announced it as a celebration of a rider who has grown. What they did not announce is that the sticking point was never whether Trackhouse wanted Raul Fernandez. It was whether Raul Fernandez would accept what Trackhouse was offering. So who was actually stalling here? And what was he so determined not to sign? Because 2027 is not a normal season to hold a contract in. It is the year MotoGP tears up its own rule book. Smaller engines, no ride height devices, narrower aero, smaller fuel tanks, a different tyre supplier. Every lap time ever set becomes irrelevant on the first morning of testing. A rider on a one-year deal in that season is not being paid to race. He is auditioning on machinery nobody understands yet, while almost every seat around him is already signed away to 2028. That is the trapdoor Fernandez spent 6 months refusing to stand on. Here is what actually happened. Trackhouse and Fernandez opened talks early in the season and agreed on everything except the length. Fernandez asked for 2 seasons. He asked consistently, and he never moved. Trackhouse, in the phrasing Autosport used, preferred a more flexible solution. Sit with that phrase. It is doing an enormous amount of work. Flexible for whom? Flexible for the team. Motorsport.com reported from the Brno weekend itself that Trackhouse hoped to close a 1-season agreement covering 2027 only, specifically to keep 2028 open. The reasoning was not hostile. With new rules landing, the team did not want 2 riders who lacked current Aprilia experience, so his familiarity with the bike carried real value. They wanted him. They wanted him for 1 year, and they wanted the year after to stay unwritten. The team expected to sign it at Brno. It did not get signed at Brno. It did not get signed at the Sachsenring either, and it did not get signed across the whole summer break. A rider sitting 6th in the championship on a satellite bike, with no factory offer visible anywhere, said at the Sachsenring only that his future was almost done, and let the summer break pass with nothing signed. That is not indecision. That is a position. And look at what he was holding out against. The other side of that box is emptying. Ogura is confirmed to be leaving for Yamaha. Enea Bastianini, released from his KTM commitment, is expected to arrive in his place, and Aprilia has promised him full factory support inside the American team. A new teammate with something violent to prove after 2 bruising seasons at Tech 3. Factory backing raising the standard for what counts as acceptable. Fernandez locked his half of that garage down before any of it arrived. So listen to what Justin Marks said once the deal was done. The Trackhouse owner said Fernandez has grown as a rider both on the bike and with his preparation, approach and maturity. Hold that line against 6 months of a rider declining to sign. It sounds like a compliment. It is also, quietly, an admission. Something moved the team off its position, and the only thing Fernandez did differently across those 6 months was refuse. And, oh yeah, there is one more part of this, and it reframes the entire standoff. The man who built that garage around him is walking out of it. Davide Brivio confirmed in May that he steps away as team principal at the end of this season, heading to Honda. 3 years running that garage, and he will not be inside it when the new contract begins. So the structure offering Fernandez a single year through the reset would not survive to honour the relationship underneath it. Trackhouse had already hired the replacement in June, Francesco Guidotti, who ran Red Bull KTM in the season. Fernandez was drowning on a Tech 3 KTM, walked in at Brno with the 2027 lineup still unsolved. Marks went further. He said, "We believe that this team and these bikes are poised to be a consistent championship threat in the years to come. That is a team describing a rider central to its future. And a team that considers a rider central to its future does not spend half a year trying to sign him for 12 months. One of those is the press release. The other is what happened in the room. The results built his case, one weekend at a time. 3 Grand Prix podiums this year in Thailand, Assen and the Sachsenring. 3 sprint podiums, 2 of them wins. 6th in the standings on 159 points, ahead of Pedro Acosta, ahead of Francesco Bagnaia. Every one of those results landed while the contract sat unsigned. He was not waiting for leverage, he was manufacturing it. And this is where it stops being a contract story, because the thing Fernandez was protecting himself from is not Trackhouse at all. It is the shape of 2027 itself. When the rules reset, the grid does not simply get smaller engines. It gets a blank sheet of comparison. Nobody knows which manufacturer solved 850 cubic centimetres best, whose aero survives the narrower dimensions, or which riding style suits a bike with no device to fire it off the corner. For one season, every rider is judged on a machine that might just be wrong, and there is no honest way to separate the man from the motorcycle. A rider out of contract at the end of that year is not being measured on talent. He is being measured on his factory's homework. Fernandez has lived on the wrong side of that arithmetic before. He arrived from Moto2 as a champion in waiting, spent years being quietly written off, and did not win a Premier Class race until Phillip Island last season. He knows exactly how long it takes a paddock to change its mind about you. He also knows how fast it changes back. People thought this was a team deciding whether a rider was good enough. It was a rider deciding whether a team's offer was safe enough. That is the flip. Trackhouse never questioned his speed. It questioned whether it wanted to be tied to him in 2028, and he made that question the price of having him at all. So let us be honest about what was really signed here. Raul Fernandez did not win a renewal. Trackhouse was always going to renew him. What he won is narrower and far more valuable. He won the right not to be re-auditioned in the one season when every certainty in this sport gets deleted at once. 2 years means he is allowed a bad 2027. It means he can be handed an 850cc Aprilia that does not work, lose a year of his career to a wind tunnel decision made in Noailles, and still have a bike underneath him the season after to prove it was never him. A 1-year deal offers none of that. It makes a rider hostage to his factory's guesswork. And make no mistake about what the concession tells us. Trackhouse held its line for close to 6 months, through Brno, through the Sachsenring, through the summer break, then folded on the exact term it began by refusing. The team that wanted flexibility is now tied to him through the end of 2028, his 6th year in that garage counting the RNF days. He did not buy security. He proved he was the one they could not replace. 6 months of refusing, and the loudest thing in the whole negotiation was the year Trackhouse did not want to give away. So who really held the power in that room? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to click on the video appearing on your screen right now.